Hi. On October 10, 2019, I stumbled into a local animal shelter in San Antonio, Texas. I was in search of a new four-legged furry friend that would provide happiness and joy into my life. As I entered the animal shelter, I saw the many dogs looking for a new place to call home. I immediately fell in love with a 10-week-old half German Shepherd, half Husky by the name of Marley. As I got to know her better and play with her more, I knew for a fact I wanted to take her home with me. I turned to the employee and I asked him, how does a dog like this end up here? He quickly summarized her backstory and told me that her previous owners didn't have the means to provide for her anymore and was just given to the shelter for them to take care of her. I remember thinking to myself, man, I am so lucky with this opportunity to adopt this dog because I knew for a fact that she would provide a big impact in my life. I quickly filled out the paperwork and took her home, and that was the beginning of my friendship with Marley. In a short amount of time, Marley became an integral part of my life. She was just very friendly, very playful, a joy to be around, and yeah, she just provided so much happiness into my life. Uh, Aside from that, she also provided a lot of mental and emotional support for me throughout tough times, whether it was due to stress from school or other personal matters. Marley was always there for me. She provided a lot of support and happiness for me. Um, Marley is just one dog out of millions that has gone through this process and has lived to tell the story about it. Every year, about 1.5 million dogs enter animal shelters every year. This is due to a variety of reasons, but the main ones are usually due to stray animals. So animals that don't have a home or were abandoned, they were picked up by animal control and placed into these animal shelters for an opportunity for them to find a second home. Uh, Another reason would be animals that are rescued from cruelty. So animals that have been abused or just been living in horrible living conditions, they are rescued and then treated and then placed into these shelters with the hope of finding them a home. And then another reason would be surrendered animals. So animals like Marley, whose owners don't have the means to provide for them, uh, they are given to these shelters for the shelters to care for them and find them a new place to call home. Once they are put into these shelters, they are put into these kennels and cages where they will compete against their companions um, with the hope of finding a new home. Every time a person enters uh, the shelters, they try to make a lasting impression for them to stick out and find a new owner. Um, so once they enter these shelters, they are given about a timeline from 3 to about 14 days where they will be kept here. The sad truth about this is that the supply of dogs that enter animal shelters is a lot higher than the demand. So shelters are putting in a tough position where they have to manage the capacity of their shelters, and they are faced with the unfortunate reality of dealing with dogs in one or two ways. So one or two ways is that if they're lucky, they're able to find a home for these animals. They are able to find a loving family that will take these dogs in and care for them fully. Or the second option would be euthanization, where dogs are put down simply because the shelters don't have the space to keep them around. So every year, about 700,000 dogs are euthanized, and out of those 700,000, 80% of them are perfectly healthy. They were perfectly healthy, but simply are euthanized for the reason of not, for the capacity reasons for animal shelters. It's a sad reality that not many people know about. So, why should you adopt a dog? Obviously, I want to start off by saying that I know for a fact not every person has the means or desire to adopt a dog, but if you do have the means and you are looking for a friend, I highly advise you to adopt a dog. Reason number one would be you will save a life. These are dogs that are given a second chance at life from their previous living conditions. So they're looking for a new place to call home, and you providing that would be a forever thing these dogs will be grateful for. If they are not adopted, obviously the option of the fate of their lives would obviously be euthanization. So you are obviously saving a life every time you adopt a dog. Adopting a dog will save you money compared to pet stores and other ways to buy dogs. So if you buy a dog somewhere else, usually it'll be more expensive. The medical expenses won't be paid for, and other expenses probably won't be paid for as well. When you adopt a dog, the adoption fee comes with all the vaccinations, all the you get them fixed and microchip, so it's a good deal for sure. Along with that, you are finding puppy mills and pet stores. So these puppy mills and pet stores, they have one priority, and that is to make profit off of these animals. They don't really care for these animals and use inhumane practices to breed them, and they don't really care for them as much as shelters do. Their sole purpose is to make money off these animals. So every time you adopt a dog, you are definitely fighting against those practices. And then the last reason, it's not on here, but obviously the main one is that you get a friend. These dogs are loving creatures that provide a lot of happiness and joy into people's lives. So if you adopt a dog, you will definitely won't regret it. These dogs will be your friends for as long as they live, and they will love you fully forever. So yeah, and if you don't like dogs, cats are also another option for you. They are usually under similar circumstances. They come from similar backgrounds. They're another alternative. You don't like dogs but are still looking for friends, I definitely motivate you to hopefully adopt a cat. So to close out, I'm gonna say that how a lot of people measure a person's life by a variety of reasons. Some measure it by money or how many people you know, or other reasons. I measure it by whether or not you made a positive impact on people's lives. So whether it's a human life or a dog or a cat, every life matters. So every time you adopt a dog, you are making an impact on a life for sure. So I highly advise you to make an impact, and if you have the means and you have the desire, I highly advise you to adopt an animal from these shelters to make an impact on their lives. Thank you. Resources.